Right, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to FTRL. It is Thursday now, which means it is time for GT2, and we are at the penultimate week of the championship, this week coming from Bluemoon Infield 8, and later on Francorchamps. Joining me is an equally sweaty Mr. Pagani. Good evening, Paul.
Afternoon. Very, very sweaty, yes.
It is definitely, it's Tom Smith's level of perspiration for all of us this week. So I hope everybody has been enjoying the heat in as safe a manner as you can.
Social distancing, keep it up, boys.
Indeed, unless you're in Bournemouth, clearly that's not worked. But there we go. Right, so penultimate week of the championship then, we are really at the business end now. So Bluemoon Infield 8 and Francorchamps this week. So GT1 we took on Bluemoon in the first week.
Did indeed.
Group 4 as well. Obviously that turned into a good battle between, I believe it was Tom and Iggy, wasn't it, for the win?
It was Tom Iggy. I was trying to close them down, however Aaron had difficulties with the internet, so the race was never really finished.
This is true, I remember that. Yes, that did happen. So there was that. So obviously that probably bodes well for Alfa Romeo to sort of hit back again this week. We're expecting to be up there, expecting sort of Switchback and Jockey Sport to be there as well. Maybe the McLarens. I don't think you can count out City Posh anywhere at the moment, can we?
Well, from what I've been told, Citroën are playing their wildcard this week, so you would anticipate a level of commitment that would. I mean, McLaren basically got 1, 2, 3 with theirs, so yeah.
Very strongly to play their wildcard, so Citroën obviously feeling confident this week. Just going to see how they get on. And then later on, obviously, we've got Spa in Group 3. Now, we did this in the wet last season. We did it in the wet this season, Group 4. How do we think we're going to get on with the dry? Because I think we've actually done a dry Spa race in FTRL yet.
We have. Season 1 of manufacturers, it was race 2. Group 3, I was in a BMW. I pitted a couple times.
Yeah, I do remember that. Tell her, you're alright.
I only remember because it's probably the only race I won, so yeah.
Well done on that one. Yeah, so take that back. It's not the first time. Second time we've been there, but the first time we've been there in a while, in the dry. So Citroën obviously feeling confident at both races.
You would believe so. I mean, you would think Spa would limit the Citroën's Group 3's limitations. It doesn't really like low speed, where you've only really got the bus stop and the La Source hairpin, so. However, I've seen a lot of mileage from the Alfa Romeo boys.
Even in this heat, I'm quite impressed at their commitment today, or this week, in fact. With the weather this week, being indoors, sweating Gran Turismo has not been high on my list of things to do, so.
Well, I wonder if we are going to see a little bit of a change of the order. I mean, a lot of the boys have picked up a set of Competizione in the Giro. Yeah, I did one lap. I bought it today, and it's very different from GT, that's all I've got to say. So if the boys have been practicing both, you've got to distribute your time evenly, so sure.
Alright, so qualifying underway. And of course the standard 12-minute qualifying for the Group 4 race. And later on that will be followed by the reverse grid for the Group 3 race then. So on board with Switchback, who is probably the full man in Group 4 at the moment. 3 wins in this class this season. 2 in a row in fact as well. So he's in a bit of a purple patch, which is ironic because he's in the purple car.
I mean, it is unfortunate with his zap, but I mean, yeah. I mean, he has done very well in this Group 4 Citroën. I mean, you either take to a car or you don't. I know a lot of the Citroën boys are just struggling with the Group 3, which might express some of their results this year. But Group 4 is a very stable motor car, so hopefully we'll beat their again this week.
Indeed, so he will be the first one to start a flying lap, so we'll go on board with Zach. So top gear, down, start, finish straight. And we've got this banked, as you come off the banking onto the infield, got to pick a braking point. Up for the apex, bit of a wobble there as he comes off the banking, but holds it nicely down to 4th, apexes nicely, and then you run up to the wall as you come back onto the banking on the far side. Then down a couple of gears, got the car on the inside, now we're into the infield section. double left-hander, followed by a quick right. Tricky one, with plenty of curb on the inside, which you need to use because you need to run out onto the curb on the outside, but this narrows up quite a lot. And then a blast down onto the kink under the bridge, and hard on the brakes for the hairpin. Down to second gear. Drive out, get out, use all the road, and then a very tricky double apex left-hander. Staying nice and tight. Short blast now back up towards the banking. And then again another tricky left-hander there. You've got to attack that apex, but don't click the wall, and run it right to the wall on the outside. And takes the banking off the final corner of the oval. And onto the start finish straight he comes. Our first flying lap will be to the line. Right, 12.2. It must be white. Has already jumped in by 7/10 of a second, so that's a flying lap there. Looks like he's got
he's right behind his teammate, so I wonder if there was a little bit of slipstream playing a part there.
I would suggest so. He is about half a second up. Just for Jockey Sport, has dropped into second then, in the second of the Citroens. P5 is almost P6, just ahead of Steph. Greenwood coming to the line. Goes P8, C push next up. He's on that lap, so he's just started the flying lap.
I believe all three McLarens didn't pit end of the first lap, and I believe C4 from the look would walk on the soft tyres.
So McLaren's running nose to tail as a trio again. Seems to be their tactic this season. Although Unsafe Felice has got himself right to the back of Deluc already.
Yeah, teamwork and slipstreams in qualifying. It's not the easiest thing to coordinate, as Citroen and GT1 found out to their peril at Fuji.
Here comes SBY. He's now dragging Donzo around. Doesn't help Donzo, so Donzo doesn't improve. Although maybe it looks like they might be going for another lap now. 14.6 that time around from Donzo, so not a quick lap. Cohandy moves up to P4.
It was a cracking lap from Andy, just sneaking up at the back of the Citroens for a little bit of slipstream. So
got himself in between the switchback and Jockey Sports. And so he's kind of snuck into the Citroen train here.
We have seen the Citroen, the Mitsubishi, not be the quickest car in a straight line this season. So if he's open, that he can get some speed out of it down straight.
Well, the McLaren train has worked out for Deluc. He's popped himself up into P2. City Push has gone P6, Unsafe Felice is P8, so thinking it was in the middle, had a bit of a gap to City Push, so he's used the slipstream well. He is now P2, so leading the McLaren charge.
Have a second for in the top 6.
Stonzo moves up to P3, just 8,000 shy to Deluc's time as well. Yep, so there we go. That time around the Citroen Alfa Romeo's going for it.
I mean, we are down one Alfa Romeo this week with 8 unable to race, so yeah, both Alphas are here working together. I was going to say the McLarens are all coming in together, but Unsafe has carried on while you two have fitted.
Maybe I think he had a slightly blocked lap, although he has jumped his teammate to P7. Pop City Posh down to P8.
Interesting to see what Steph can do as he basically all by himself.
Ooh, Junkie Sport into the wall on the inside of the hairpin. Came in sideways and got a big chunk of wall under the grill of his Citroen, so that was in that lap if he was on one. That's what Andy and Son going side by side a moment ago as well, so battling on qualifying, not ideal.
I've seen him with Donzo, Infield behind his teammates.
For Romeo, working like a well-oiled machine. 1 and 2 now.
It's not something you normally see an Alfa Romeo that actually works, but these two are pulling it off.
Indeed, I'd say Lennon was probably his strongest week in week 1, wasn't it, for around here? he had a strong week. Obviously, Iggy battled for the win. Lennon was in the mix for good points. When the
Was that when he qualified P3?
he did, yeah, I think so. Yeah, not far off. He was definitely up there.
Was it P3 or P2? I know it was in front of me and I was 4th. So I know Tom put it on pole with his last lap because we're all sat there waiting. And you just sat there waiting and you just see Tom running. Yeah, you know something special's coming.
So McLaren's on a hot lap again. They've got themselves together. So City Posh leading the look with teammate Unsafe Release just in the background as well. He's probably just outside the slip, maybe just on the fringes of slipstreams. The Alfa Romeos are in for fresh tyres. Just over 4 minutes to go. Current running by SBY on pole from Donzo. You've got Deluxe P3 ahead of Switchback. Junkie Sports, two of the Citroens together. And Co-Andy, Unsafe Release. City Posh. Steph P9's on P10. And JP Greenwood in the Soul VW is P11. He's just been some fresh tyres. So
Steph has improved. When he was already P9, he's got a little bit closer to City Posh.
McLaren's coming around to the end of their lap then. What are we going to get from them this time? City Posh will be first across the line. He's currently P8. He goes P5. Deluxe doesn't improve. Just got a little slower.
He has an opportunity to hit that McLaren train.
He's taken over at the front. And so Felice is now on the back of this train as well. So putting McLaren's together again. 3.5 minutes to go.
McLaren's are getting very close together.
Yeah, I think this is just a fuel burn lap now for them. City Posh obviously backed out of it to let Deluxe through, so he's not on a flyer. So Felice has just caught up, so get themselves together again, regroup. Going to go for maybe a couple of time for 2 more flying laps.
Switch back. Does not.
Stays P4.
I mean, if that's how it stays, because he's going to struggle to get around the lap. He's not going to be happy as it is. He does like this circuit, the switch back.
Confident enough to play their wildcards. City Posh, Deluxe going into the pits. No, all the McLarens are coming out. Okay, so Deluxe look at City Posh pit. Unsafe Release now goes without the tow again.
Well, he has improved again.
He did get a bit of a draft off his teammates that time. P5, so he's now in the middle. No, he's right behind his teammate. And they've both split Junkie Sport and switched back up, so Citroen a bit of work to do to make their wildcard pay off.
Have indeed.
So while we just wait for some flying laps to come in, let's have a quick review of the championship standings. We'll start with the Group 4. That's Group 1, that's GT1, that's no good to him. Why am I GT1? Typically GT2. GT2 standings, alright. So in the Group 4 category, Tournament Championship leader is Switchback by a point from Donzo. So that's 65 for Switchback, 64 for Donzo. City Posh third on 60. SBY after that shocker last week when they played their wildcard, they didn't score any points. Stays on 51, tied with Unsafe Release, they're your top 5. Overall, at the moment, City Posh is our championship leader. He's on 165 points. Unsafe Release is second on 149, so keeping his teammate honest despite not winning a race this season. So he's been the bridesmaid a couple of times. Junkie Sport goes for some grass trackings, having put himself up to P5.
Feels like me and GT1 I'm still yet to win a race this season. It's getting tight now.
Well, you probably had Fuji in the bag until I got that penalty, didn't you? So it's definitely there.
Don't remind me, Lee.
Hey, if I could get reminded of Le Mans, everyone could get reminded you of that. If you look at City Posh, squabbling hard, compromising each other's lap time a bit. Oh, off goes Deluxe.
Oh, SBY's improved at the front.
Indeed.
Not an 11.7.
Coming into that first corner sideways again. Yeah, quick. So while we're quickly waiting for some lap time, so quick run down the seven. So Unsafe Release second, 149 on third. We've got Donzo on 145. Fourth is SBY on 134. So 2 McLarens, head 2 Alfa Romeos. And it's the two Citroens, Switchback and Junkie Sport, on 131 and 96 respectively. They are top 5 so far.
Well, I think McLaren have miscalculated, because they're only going to get this lap.
And so they look, and City Posh tripped over each other. They've cost themselves a final shot at improving.
Well, 3 McLarens are wiggling across the line, so yeah, I think their qualifying is done.
So 3rd, 6th and 7th for them. We've got Steph using the slipstream of Junkie Sport. It's currently on P9.
Line do they do not.
Switchback next. P4.
Switchback do. He'll be getting slipstream from his teammate long through.
Why he has dropped back. Does he improve? He does, up to P3, so he jumps Diluc.
No improvement. Andy did improve his lap, but did not move up. He missed out on unsafe release by 0.003 of a second.
Tight as you like in GT2 again, so Alfa Romeo lock out the front row. And we'll watch out for that fast starting Citroen on row 2. In fact, Junkie Sport tucked in behind him as well, so could very easily have those two leading into turn 1. But SBY and Donzo lock out the front row as it is.
Everyone's starting from 4th in the Citroen and making it to P2 by turn 1, so it is possible to make 2 places. Can switch back to it.
He's got a good start. He's leapfrog Donzo. SBY, however, keeping him tucked in behind. He looks to the inside now.
Sport also looking to the inside.
SBY has a bit of a wiggle. Switches around the outside. Donzo's back up the inside of Junkie Sport in the battle for P3. But drops in behind, so Citroen leads. And Switchback getting the whole shot off the line into first place. SBY tucks into 2nd. And you've got Junkie Sport and Donzo a little bit wide. There was the McLaren of Diluc.
City Porsche should be boxed about. He's back down to P10. Up to P11.
So City Porsche has an absolute stinking start. On so for Lisa up to P5. Steph up to P7. Some battling away there as well. You've got JP Greenwood in amongst them. Andy, contact with Andy and JP Greenwood. Andy's had a big moment. Let's City Posh up a position. Bit of bumping and boring going on the first lap. No such worry so far for Switchback, who leads. However, he's got SBY in close attendance. Behind him, Junkie Sport has got Donzo and Unsafe Release tucked up behind him. Deluxe there as well.
Those front two are trying to get away, but SBY will look down the inside. No, he doesn't. He just stays in behind.
Someone's got a good run on Steph into 1, but not quite close enough this time around. Steph holds on to P7, but Zom right at the back of him. Greenwood P9. See Posh trying to recover after having a shocking start to P10. Past Andy, back with the leaders. Switch back on the grass. SBY is right with him. We saw that the Alfa Romeo can stick with the more powerful cars around here. Through this twisty infield.
The Viper in GT1, which is no slouch in a straight line. So.
It's not indeed. Now Junkie Sport has disposed of Donzo and is now trying to close in on the top 2. Donzo's now got the McLaren pair to worry about. Unsafe Release and Diluc on his tail.
I think it's only the second time of the season we've seen City Posh not really move forward off the line. The last one he got lapped. So yeah.
I don't think that'll happen today. Shall see. Things have happened. Switchback sets the fastest lap in the race at 12.4. Diluc, however, just pips him at 12.451. Switchback safe from attack this time around. However, Donzo has got Unsafe Release all over the back of him now. And Diluc waiting to pick up the pieces. Som up the inside of Steph coming off the first corner. JP Greenwood trying to follow through. Oh, contact with Zom and Steph. Steph's going into the wall. Zom's off as well. JP Greenwood's down the inside of both of them. Andy Sue and City Posh. So there's 5 cars swapping. Oh, something's been turned. City Posh is sideways. I think JP Greenwood got turned around in there as well. He did.
Wow.
Still side by side. Steph and Zom, who started off side by side after all that, come out of all that melee, still side by side. So JP Greenwood, the big loser in that one, getting turned around 5 cars into a small piece of tarmac. Really wasn't going to work out for everybody. And here's the unfortunate one.
Switchback tried to make a break. He got the cap to 1.2, but that's slowly coming down the straight to SPY.
Indeed. Slipstream now bring it down to 9/10. But it is enough. He's not close enough to attack, so it's a healthy enough lead for Switchback. A slightly different line there, so you see a lot of the guys are taking sort of a very wide entry there, while Donzo came in a little bit more narrow. And he is now starting to close up, so we're now in a battle for 3 for the lead, it's becoming a battle for 6. Oh, Junkie Sport, the grass! So at the same time, just got a drift on, but it was a manageable. That, however, has let Donzo right onto his tail.
Because the grass around here is terrible. It just fires you off in different directions. So it did very well not to spin.
Oh, battle for the lead is on. SPY is there. So that gap is absolutely nothing now. And we can see the Citroen gets good punch off the corners, starts to pull away. That's around the corner, SPY comes back at him. Now we have the slipstream all the way down the straight, so both Citroens have got an Alfa Romeo tucked right under their rear wing.
In the background, City Porsche has made it to the head of that mini group who's now trying to chase down Zom. But he's got an awful lot of work to do. He wants to be in the battle for the race lead in this one.
Yeah, big gap between Zom and Deluc is 6 seconds at the moment, so looks like P7 could be all that City Porsche is going to get from this one. Looking at Zom, it is a very nice new Rebellion inspired livery. It's a cracking job there on that one. Oh, Andy's wide into the wall. Gets away with it though. You're leading 6, and it's as you were with the Citroen and an Alfa Romeo right under its rear wing. Times 2. Unsafe release is now back onto the tail of Donzo. Donzo's going to have to attack and defend.
If you look at SPY, it looks a lot smoother through this last section of track where it's all tight and twisty. And where the Alpha should be quicker.
Indeed, fuel-wise, SPY and Switchback are about the same. So,
just a quick look at tyres. Everyone's more or less the same, besides Donzo. Donzo has no tyre wear.
Looking super smooth. Again, not quite close enough to Junkie Sport to launch a sack, or is he? Oh, he's a late move. No, not quite close enough. Oh, so Feliz came in a little bit hot there. Gathered it up.
You mentioned that change of line from Donzo. He has been known to do it before. He did it very well against me at Fuji once in a Mustang.
Indeed, as City Posh has taken Zom for P7. Zom still battling though. Can City Posh do anything about that gap? That's now 7.5 seconds to the guys ahead.
He needs to push on strong, but he's got probably the worst tyre wear in the field after those incidents he's been involved in.
He's pushing hard.
That front right tyre is not healthy. No, switch back in the wall, come on the straight. Well, I don't know what's happened, but Junkie Sport's fallen away now. We're a second out of slipstream range of SPY. So
Donzo is close this time. He's down the inside already. Going for that tight line. The car gets twitchy, but again, Junkie Sport just swings across the front of the nose. Carried the speed around the outside. Deluc has picked up a penalty somewhere. It's got 0.4 second penalty.
City Porsche got past Zom. Zom hasn't given it up. Zom's right in the back of City Porsche now.
Indeed. So yeah, the Citroen's going well. Oh, he's down the inside. City Posh is wide. Through he goes. And he's on back up to P7. City Posh with a mistake there. And now Andy's on the back of him.
Yes, indeed. Those front tyres are not happy.
So both Alfa Romeo's now on the attack of their Citroen counterparts. Donzo's got a very good run there off that left-hander. He's right on the back of Junkie Sport. Was pushing him onto the banking. Bit of a slide. Junkie Sport's into the wall. But Donzo had a slide, so wasn't able to capitalise. He'll now try and get the slingshot down the straight. Meanwhile, SBY is as close as he's ever been. Down the start finish straight. Are we going to see him move this time? No, I think he's backed out of it a little bit there.
Well, if anybody was planning on doing the two-stop, I'd have expected them in that lap. So it looks like everyone was going to plan on doing the one-stop.
Oh, not close enough. Donzo again also not through. McLaren's happy to just sit on the back of these two at the moment. They are slightly worse off on fuel. In fact, Donzo is a lot better on fuel than Junkie Sport, so Donzo can bide his time. Pit in. Should again Deluc now attacking his teammate for P5. Down the inside. Good move from Deluc.
Just a quick look at the difference between tyres with Donzo and unsafe release. There is a massive difference. The McLarens are slaughtering their front right tyre.
All over the back of Junkie Sport. SBY all over the back of Switchback. Alfa Romeo's looking to get moves done. They had a slight weight decrease last week, which should have helped bring this car back into contention after being slapped with an absolute leadful ballast a couple of weeks ago with a balance of performance update.
I mean, the question is, will anybody try the undercut?
We're getting to pit stop territory for one stoppers.
That's right at the back of Switchback. Switchback's wide. Manages to hold on, but these Alfa Romeos are definitely coming into it the longer this race goes on. I say that, Deluc is up inside the Donzo now, going there a bit.
So Deluc making moves. Yeah, so despite his quite a lot higher tyre wear, he is up into P4. So Donzo, who's been looking to find a way past Junkie Sport, suddenly finds himself looking at the back of a McLaren.
But look, Donzo's Alpha's got a lot more wear of that rear right tyre all of a sudden. He's had a slide and it's gone! Yeah, that needs to come in the pits, Donzo. If it's done it there, it'll do it everywhere.
And he's carried on. So yeah, big moment there.
It's the same sort of thing that happened to Pete at Alsace.
And SBY had it as well, didn't he? One race earlier in the season. And he is now right on the back of Switchback. He is literally pushing him round.
Both Mitsubishis have come into the pits.
So that very precise, needed to be driven. Alfa Romeo has cooked its rear tyre for Donzo. It's got away from him. So what was looking at a very promising potential podium finish, now he's clinging onto a top six.
Oh, Deluc's on the grass at the hairpin.
Oh, he's very wide, so did he go in too hot, or he clipped the grass?
I saw him clip the grass and just could not get the car stopped. It's allowed his teammate back through.
So Deluc doing all his hard work. Meanwhile, front two, are they going to be in this lap? Switchback is in, yep, SBY's going to follow him.
Junkie Sport's staying out.
Safe release thinks about pitting, carries on. Deluc is in. Donzo is in. Zom carries on. City Posh pits. Steph.
Tyre left.
So Junkie Sport now is your race leader. Unsafe release is P2.
SBY's jumped Switchback in the pits.
So he did have. Let's look at the fuel. Yes, Switchback put just a little bit more fuel in. That has been enough. for SBY to jump him. However, they are nose to tail, but the other way around.
I would say it looked like the Citroen was probably the quicker car to start the stint, but the Alfa Romeo came back into it, so with those positions switched, it would be an interesting battle. SBY defends.
So they switch back already looking for a way past. To the hairpin. Being very racy at the moment. Not close enough, SBY a little bit wide there, but clips the second apex nicely. I'll get him a good run. However, will he have anything to defend with down the start finish straight with that Citroen so close?
Said Junkie Sport and Unsafe Release have just hemorrhaged time this lap. It is coming down.
Yeah, they look like they're in this time. Yeah, they're both in this time. SBY leads, he's got half a second. Switchback is closing. Not close enough, so yeah, SBY had enough for the straight line though. He's a bit wide through one. Switchback keeping a tighter line. Not close enough to jump, and Donzo is going to swoop through to P3. So despite that big slide, that extra lap from Junkie Sport has cost him, because Donzo has come back from 6th up to 3rd.
Unsafe Release has dropped back behind his teammate after the look had that slight off-track excursion, so that extra lap.
The underclass worked out quite nicely for Team Mitsubishi. They are now P7 and P9, so they've jumped City Posh and Zom. Well, Steph is tucked in behind City Posh, and he's ahead of him.
Just doesn't seem comfortable tonight, does City Posh in this Group 4. Banged about a bit early on and just doesn't like the City Posh of last week.
SBY in the wall, coming onto the banking. That's allowed switchback to close in a couple of tenths. He's right in the slipstream. SBY going a little bit defensive. Switchback to the inside. And he retakes the lead of the race. SBY's going to try and swing around the outside though. Alfa Romeo does take the corner as well. He's got the speed up. They are side by side.
Difficult to go around the outside this left-hander. There's only really one line.
And switchback retakes the position. Oh, but he's up the inside now. Switchback covers him off. He's going slightly defensive. Is SBY close to the double send?
Down the inside.
Oh, meets at the apex. I think Switchback just about saw him coming. They're still side by side. Oh, contact.
Very well not to have contact at the hairpin, but yeah.
These two now starting to knock battles.
We basically have the same battle for first and second and we do for third and fourth.
There's a look at battle for 3, and it's Dunzo leading. Back to Junkie Sport, and then Deluxe. And Unsafe Release, who's lost a bit of time there with that extra lap.
SBY is pushing the switch back down the straight.
There is a technique that's been advised by Aaron in the chat for SBY if he wishes to get it. SBY's got the switch back though, he's up the inside.
Is it lethal to switch back?
Oh, he's going to try it. Switchback swings across in front of him though. So that's Citroen power, just enough to keep him in front.
It is indeed. Meanwhile, Donzo's still holding off Junkie Sport.
Junkie Sport, they're racing. Oh, Jones kept on nicely. Deluxe trying to get back on terms. He's still within slipstream range, so he can get pulled back onto the tail of these two. SBY around the outside again into this double apex left-hander. That gets a good punch off the corner.
He does indeed, however, everywhere he wants to be. There's Citroen in the way.
He's a big boy. Big boy to get around. Again, he's so close to come off the banking. Have a great slipstream here. When does he pop out?
He pops out with that slipstream, he loses all the speed he's got.
So he's going to wait for the braking zone, and he's going to go down the inside. He's going to try and loop outside to inside again. Yeah, he's going for a slightly wider entry. It's cut back tight. Again, he gets up the inside. Oh, side by side again. Is he far enough alongside this time? Oh.
Marginal contact.
Great racing.
Very well not to clip the grass.
Great racing from these two. Switchback just clinging on to this by the skin of his teeth. Is SPY going to have another send at the hairpin? He is. Oh, Switchback goes very defensive, very late. SPY's through. Covered the line too late, and SPY back into the lead of the race.
Leave the gap. The car's got to be there.
Good move from SPY. Forced the issue. However, come onto the banking again. Does he have enough in hand to hold off the Citroen on the run down the start-finish straight? He's got about half a second, which might just be enough. Does he move around a little bit, try and break the toe? He is. He's coming down narrow. Trying to break the slipstream a little bit. Get him a little bit of a defensive position into one as well. Switchback's going to have a look anyway. Not quite now, backs out of it this time. Alpha P3 is spread out a little bit. Donzo has got a bit of a gap now. He's got over a second, in fact, over Junkie Sport, who has got Deluc now all over the back of him.
He has, but I think Donzo's got a lap less fuel than everyone around him, which could be interesting.
Well, we shall see. Has he got his maths right? Is the question.
I mean, I shouldn't be one to ask because my maths never really worked out, so... Not as bad as Rom's, but...
This is true. This is true. All frames.
The look is right in the back of Junkie Sport now. We haven't seen much from the McLarens today, but the look, who I think it's safe to say hasn't been sort of the star name this season at McLaren, is showing what he's worth today.
Yeah, I'd say he had a very good run last time at Laguna Seca, circuit he does love. And he was on for a podium finish. Was a little bit of late race contact, and he only finished P4. Still a good drive from him. He is now worrying the back of the Citroen of Junkie Sport. Covering a lock, not quite close enough though. Social Release has got himself in a bit of a gap. A bit of a lonely race for him now. City Posh is back ahead of the Mitsubishis, and now clear in P7. Steph hanging on to 8th with Zom in behind him. Andy back to P10. JP Greenwood in the Sol VW. So the circuit's probably not going to suit that front wheel drive nature. Having wear on the front tyre. He will be on pole position for Spa. Which will be our second race.
Trying to break that slipstream. It's up to a second. Let me just check. SPY's on the super soft and switch to the soft. So that should explain the pace difference.
Well, we saw this last time in the first half of the race, didn't we? The Alfa Romeo came good in the second half of the stint, and he's now using that to try and break away. The biggest gap we've seen. Meanwhile, Donzo has really pulled away now. Junkie Sport has been defending from Deluc and has dropped 3 seconds off the back, so Donzo looks like he's going to get P3 all wrapped up. Barring obviously the fuel situation, which we need to keep an eye on.
It is sort of levelling itself out now. I don't know if he's been saving a little bit or if everyone else has been pushing, but it's starting to level itself back out.
He's got a bit of a gap now, so he can afford to just drop it down to 2 or 3 on the straights in the corners, just to save a bit of fuel, a bit of lift and coast, and he should be able to get home from there. SPY is now starting to make a break. He's got that gap up to 1.5 seconds as they come out of the hairpin.
Just had a quick look. If anybody knows that Alfa Romeo, it's going to be done, so he has done 3,000 miles in that car now. That is ridiculous numbers, so credit to Donzo for putting the time in.
Impressive figures. Junkie Sport just keeping Deluc at arm's length. Safely, it's a very lowly P6. City Posh now in a lonely P7. Zom has got himself onto the tail of Steph in the battle for P8. So the Citroen man looking to make a move into 1 here. He's got a good run off the final corner.
Last thing you want when you're a defending driver is someone on the back of your car in the last couple of laps.
So he's going to go around the long way. Steph covers the inside. Zom gets the position down the straight into the braking zone. He's going to swoop around the outside. It'd be a great move if he can. A bit of contact, leaning on each other. Zom's still on the outside. He is nosing ahead. Steph trying to keep his nose in, but Zom gets the position. Great move that from Zom.
We should now be getting to ill with very high front tyre wear.
Yeah, that's slightly earlier stop as well. They went for the undercut, which paid dividends for a few laps. Unfortunately now starting to eat those tyres up. But the race leader is 1.51 seconds ahead as the switchback, closing down the straights, but SBY as we start what will be the penultimate lap.
Starting the penultimate lap, we have Donzo in the red light for the fuel. It's going to be tight.
Still got 3.5 seconds to look on the attack into one. Can he switch back on Junkie Sport? No, Junkie Sport keeps it tight, so it looks like to go around the long way. Two's on the red line. Look, pushing, but is he critical on fuel?
Well, not unless a mistake occurs. I would guess that this race is now SBY. He's got a 2-second lead now.
Junkie Sport just got over the curve onto the grass there as they got onto that short back straight. Had a bit of a wobble, but Dilluck wasn't close enough to capitalise. Zom has dropped the hammer and pulled away from Steph in that battle for P8, so he's looking on for a strong finish.
I say, can he catch City Porsche? City Porsche has dropped off the last few laps with his front right tyre wear.
2.5 seconds, although Steph is back with him, so he's going to have to defend and attack. So race leaders onto the final lap. Looking good for SBY. Dilluck, however, on the attack. P4 is not decided yet. Junkie Sport going defensive. Dilluck goes high, looking for that sweeping line to one. Junkie Sport just parks on the apex.
Junkie Sport doing what he's entitled to do, just parking on the apex, frustrate the look behind him.
Indeed. Just clever driving from Junkie Sport. Dilluck have to find another way through. Can he set up a move into the hairpin? Can get a good run. Oh, Junkie Sport again gets the grass. Dilluck is closer this time, but Junkie Sport has to go a little bit defensive, drives down the middle of the road into the hairpin. Right on his tail, but yeah,
around the final corner.
Yeah, so SBY on for victory. It's been a brilliant drive from him, a great battle with Switchback, but he comes home and takes the victory. Switchback will be P2. Still a solid drive from him. Donzo, great recovery there after P3 after that big slide earlier on. Junkie Sport will hang on for P4.
Trying to break that slipstream.
I think he's got it all anyway, but he does it anyway. Look, comes across the line. P5, great showing from him. Leads the McLaren charge. 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Blue Hills on the 7th.
Is the last one across the line in P8 with Steph, Andy and JP Greenwood already finishing. So there we have it then. SBY is the winner of round 13 at Bluemoon. In that pole position after a fantastic scrap. We'll switch back for the win.
We might not have had as many races tonight, but the racing that was shown was impeccable once again. A couple of guys obviously missing tonight, but like I say, racing is second to none. It might even be better than GT1 at the moment.
Yeah, it's probably a fair shout, to be honest. I say there always seems to be great battles going on. We've had some standout drives from people. I'm obviously go back to the wet week and Steph and Andy driving. That battle with City Posh. Obviously most of City Posh's GR3 season has been exquisite. Some good drives from Zach in there as well. A couple of wins, of course, from Junkie Sport as well. So yeah, this field has been delivering excellent racing this season. So we are having a bit of an extended break now just because of the weather. Give the guys a chance to pick up some fluids.
It's always worth doing. Yeah, well, City Posh doesn't like Bluemoon according to the chat, and Andy's He's not happy, is he? More with the game in general. I don't think he's enjoying it currently. But he has had some good races this season, has Andy?
Yeah, he's been coming into it. That Mitsubishi has pre-season. A lot of the guys are trying it and thinking, yes, this is a fairly solid choice. But coming into the race, I think its weaknesses have been exposed by both GT1 and GT2 drivers. Obviously, we saw Frome stand out winning the wet race at Spa in the Group 4 car, but he's not really challenged as well as in the Group 4 category as we might have expected him. And the Group 3, I think we had it in season. What season was it? 4?
Season 5, I believe.
4 or 5.
I'm not sure. One is it?
Yeah. And yeah, it was more than a match for the Mustang, wasn't it? The Mitsubishi in the right hands.
It was indeed. I remember myself and Forum having some interesting battles.
That's how we switch our attentions now to the Group 3 race in Spa-Francorchamps.
We do indeed. The last dry race, as I say, was our first race in manufacturers in Group 3. So, way back when. I remember there was a crash into turn 1, which sort of just let me run away with it, so yeah, that was nice. But we didn't have to run on certain tyres then, so I just did 4 stints on super softs, so drivers cannot do that tonight, so it'll be interesting to see what strategies come into play tonight. We've obviously seen a lot of different things appearing over the season, but yeah.
So we have to keep our eyes on the car of Junkie Sport in this, because he's made some additions to his livery. I don't know if he's made you aware of these changes, or if you've seen these changes.
I have already seen them, yes.
Yes, okay, so they are too. We'll try and get a shot of them at some point when he gets into his car.
I do happen to believe there is a Lenore bottle on the roof.
There is a Lenore bottle on the roof. I believe it's also got a nice Tom's Gym logo as well. 0% satisfaction apparently.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's in Birmingham, but yeah. I think they all have homemade gyms in Birmingham, so yeah. A bit of a Lenore bottle.
Alright, we'll go on board then with Donzo as he heads down the Kemmel Straight. Let's take it around a lap of Spa-Francorchamps and come straight up to top. Almost probably one of the fastest points of the circuit, and then punch down the gearbox for the chicane, which name eludes me. If I was here, he would know.
I was going to say, calling names and me aren't the best.
So we see the chicane, then down to, I can't remember this one either, which is annoying because I think I do know this one. But it eludes me. So through this tricky downhill right-hander, then we come down to the corner formerly known as No Name. It's now the Jackie X corner.
I'm just going to call it No Name. It's easy. I know the next one. I know the next one's Poo-On.
Yes. It's a corner which is a tricky corner, downhill, fast, coming in. You've got to tip in, mind the curb on the inside, mind the curbs on the outside as well. And, not so much in GT Sport, but an F1, that curve on the inside of Poo-On has caught me out a couple of times.
Yeah, curbs aren't so bad on GT, however, in the wet, I can guarantee they are deadly.
To the chicane, driving up to the right-hander, now we're coming back towards the back straight and back onto the old circuits. So the double right-hander, now the speed begins to build again, so we're climbing. 145, approaching 150 miles an hour. So they come into Blanchemont. Slight lift. So coming nicely under the Alpha, handling it nicely. And then pick your braking marker and hold on the brakes for the bus stop. Yes, Blanchemont, tricky corner. High speed, you've got to keep the speed up, but at the same time you can't afford to run wide.
I say, you show people a track map and that's just a flat king for that, yeah. Might be an F1, but not so much in a GT car. I mean, I say it's flat out, I mean, We have someone in the chat, Michael C. Yeah, he happened to spin there once in wet, and there was a wheel, and there was a race victory, but not at that corner. So, yeah, well done, Michael.
Let's go on board there. So you're on board with Donzo as he came up the infamous Eau Rouge corner. Tips through Radion, and then down the back straight again, the Camel Straight. Of course, scene of that famous overtake between Mika Hakkinen, Michael Schumacher and Ricardo Zonta in 2000.
I'm pleased you remember Zonta, because I would never remember that one.
So having a bit of a wobble coming the curbs.
I think that has been seen as the Group 3 Alfa Romeo's Achilles heel. It doesn't like to ride curves. Which around Spa can make it quite difficult, but I mean it's a lot flatter than some of the tracks this
City Porsche and so
you go about a City Porsche through Eau Rouge and it looked quite scary. Like,
yes, it's like being on board with unsafe release, that wasn't it? Just sideways up Eau Rouge, it's fine. Unsafe release on track, yeah, now he's still in the pits, so I'll maybe try and get on board with him at some point. Oh, and City Porsche finds the wall. So yeah, McLaren looking a bit of a handful, but we said this is Bathurst, and he came away with a victory. In fact, I think he's just doing donuts. So.
I mean, Michael's retaliated and told me to shut up, but he should be used to it by now. So.
And penalties are going to be potentially a bit of a factor here. Just on board JP Greenwood has picked one up. A few places to pick up penalties around here. Eau Rouge and Radion being the prime one. But also Pouon, if you deem to gain an advantage from running wide, you can pick up a penalty. And also through some of the curves into the final section and the bus stops, so you need to watch out for those. They could play a factor in this race.
You can also run wide at no name, touch the Astro and immediately get a half second, which is never good.
Okay, so you've got to keep those tyres on the curbs. So, who are we fancying for this one then while we wait for the race to start?
I mean, it's very difficult to look past City Porsche. I think he's looked in dominant fashion in Group 3, especially this season. He's starting quite near the front.
Indeed.
Something unusual for him.
Bad shout. With Citroën using their wild card, they must fancy their chances. But I think it might be time for the bridesmaid to finally become the bride. I might put my money on unsafe release this time.
I think second places.
Yeah, number of second places usually chases home City Porsche, even albeit distantly in a lot of cases. So I think it's finally his time to put one over on his teammate and try and close that gap at the top. He took a few points away from his teammate, well, took a point away from his teammate in the last one, so the gap down to 15.
JP Greenwood has lost the race in real life, which is never a good thing.
Not if you don't know where you're going. Alright, so here we are. There's Junkie Sports car in the pit lane. Can't really zoom in, unfortunately, but there is there for you, Mr. Thomas Smith, and your lady friend. There is a Lenore bottle on the back of his car.
There is indeed. I think he's been fully decked out in it all. You got a decal on the bonnet. You got Tom's gym on the roof and the bonnet. So yeah, maybe Tom's actually been spending the money, but I say he's brummy, so I doubt that. I don't think it's an official sponsorship.
JP Greenwood, of course. Hopefully the Newcastle's 3-0 win at the weekend will inspire him to a strong result.
I mean, he's hoping, but we did draw yesterday, so...
It's true. If Joe Linton can get off the score sheet, then I'm sure JP Greenwood can get a good result in here.
I think the biggest talking point was Andy Carroll's mutton chops.
It's certainly something. It's certainly a look.
But yeah, as Michael says, he loves Spa, which dry home and covered Schumacher. There has been some fairly major incidents regarding F1 around this circuit.
Yeah,
I mean, it has been around for a very long time, so yeah, incidents do occur. He's hoping it's all clean today. But
So we've got Mr. Junkie Sport in the chat complaining that the only comfortable footwear he can find are a pair of woolly socks.
I mean, after the sweat that cascades after this race, he might weigh about 300 pounds, but yeah, wool and water doesn't go well together.
It does not, no.
I'm just being informed that Arsenal have won a football game.
Aaron's commiseratory alcoholic beverage has turned into a celebratory one.
It's about time that Arsenal finally won a game.
That means that Hector Bellerin's got to plant some trees as well.
Well, Michael's suggested that Junkie Sport could use Lennon to wash his socks, so
The sponsorship deals he's so good at acquiring going. So he's obviously got his one with 10 men already.
I mean, it's perfect for those longer races.
It is indeed, when you can't be bothered to go to the loop, just go. 10
Or when you're a slightly old gentleman.
And you can't help but go. Oh, those McLarens look very lively going up Eau Rouge. They look cut across the top of Eau Rouge there. See what's already on.
Well, Aaron responded to me in WhatsApp regarding my Arsenal statement. To say he was displeased would be an understatement. So, yeah, well done, Arsenal, and you know, boo, Arsenal. About 30 seconds before race start. Seeing as though you're watching, Aaron, who do you think's going to win this race? I know you have a love of City Posh. Michael, you're watching
as well.
So,
yeah, anybody in there? Mikey, I know you're in there as well somewhere. What are we saying, boys? Who do we think is going to win this one?
I mean, it is very difficult to look past City Posh, but he is backwards again, so doesn't bother with confidence.
No. Right, well, here we go then. Round 14. Penultimate week of the championship. And JP Greenwood will lead us off from pole position, with Andy and Steph directly behind him, Zom and City Posh behind them. And we've got Unsafe and Diluk.
Mikey straight in there with City Posh blow for the win. Well, the sit-runs will tend to make fast starts, but they are near the back, so it's a very short run to turn one.
Watch out for Zom in P4. P3, sorry. Where is he? Yeah, he's P4 to the light. But it is the Mitsubishis who've got a diamond start. Junkie Sport looking for a way through, but he's had a good start. Zom hasn't made up any positions after start, surprisingly. Although he's very wide, that's his unsafe. But it is Andy who's got the whole shot. He's prototype Steph tucked in behind him, City Posh up to P3.
Unsafe on the grass and they're running down to Eau Rouge.
Eau Rouge for the first time.
Oh, someone had a twitch at the bottom of Eau Rouge. He's held onto it though.
So your race leader is Andy. You've got Steph tucked in behind him, City Posh already up to P3. JP Greenwood down to P4 under attack from Switchback, who's up to P5. He's had a storming start from the back of the grid.
Mitsubishi side by side. Coming up the Camel straight, but City Posh is right in behind.
Junkie Sport to P6 ahead of Donzo. Look in P8, unsafe for at least P9. SBY just jumped ahead of Zom, who got nerfed wide. At the start.
Two cars on the soft tyre. One is Andy, one is Diluk. Everyone else is on the medium.
City Posh on the attack of Steph already. He's up the inside coming out of Ix. On the run down to Puon. That will be P2. A switchback makes the move on JP Greenwood as well. He's then out on the AstroTurf. Oh dear, and Junkie Sports through as well.
Tom was turned up and got a City Posh Donzo and Andy for the podium. Aaron's gone Zach Donzo and City Posh. That's surprising for Aaron.
Very confident. Wide by Zach as he comes onto the back straight. Andy is your race leader still, 1.2 seconds.
Oh, switch back, clip the Astro coming on the straight.
So Switchback and Junkie Sport made a very good start, got through that chaos quite well with the 4th and 5th. Now, what we're going to see strategy wise is anybody get off those medium tyres early on. He goes through. Citroens like to get off the mediums early, but now they're going to carry on.
I mean, in theory, the medium shouldn't be too bad around here. Like I say, you've got Bus Stop and La Source, they tend to be running real slow traction zones.
And he continues to lead. Meanwhile, Switchback is now on the back of Prototype Steph. Getting himself up after his moment on the AstroTurf. Rouge. Took a Radion. Felice coming in hot as SBY makes a move on. Did look in the background. Goes back at him, side by side.
SBY got a penalty early on.
On the inside, and the camel straight on. So Felice going around the outside of Donzo, further up ahead of him. Through he goes, good move. Now drifting. As always.
Stop the car line over there, get through the corner.
Be just as I say, Felice is kind of lying, to be honest, just sideways, absolutely everywhere. Through he goes. And he continues to lead then, so 2. He's had a great run at Le Mans, where he's battling for the win as they entered the final stint. Unfortunately, City Posh made the break, and Andy then battled with Unsafe for the final 2 podium spots. Of course, still kicking himself after what happened at Spa on the Red Bull Ring in the wet week. Having led for probably about 95% of the race.
That small mistake on the last lap. We've all done it.
Yeah, well done it. Yes, right. So, Andy, 1.2 seconds. Let's keeping that gap steady at the moment. See Posh not making headway. Switchback has not found a way past Steph either, so this is going well so far. 1st and 3rd. Junkie Sport 4th and 5th, and so Felice having a bit of gap back to Donzo, and very wide coming through Blanchimont. The look has got back past SBY.
One safe sideways through the bus stop. It's always entertaining to watch executives.
Indeed, flinging his car around. Oh, that leaves us Junkie Sport wide into La Source and up into 5th position. So Felice.
Coming around here, it's a very long lap. There's no in early.
Oh, I thought about going side by side into a Rouge, thought better of it. Better run up. Radion, and now we're going to go side by side down the Camel Straight. It's quick, and he takes the position.
Ridiculous, was defensive, but there's a flat line in front, allowed Donzo and the look to pull themselves onto the back.
Meanwhile, City Posh has now got the magnets on and is starting to close in a little bit on Andy. More impressive, he's on the mediums, Andy on the softs. These two breaking away a little bit. Steph though holding his own in P3. Zach has not.
Oh, Andy's wide at P1. He's just got it back on the track, but City Posh is right on the back now.
And now we have a 5-car battle for P5. Junkie Sport, Unsafe Felice, Donzo Deluxe and SBY all nose to tail. Sweep through the chicane. So Felice now look at Junkie Sport having a big wobble.
Oh, the pressure's on now.
So Philly's looking every which way for a way through to the back straight. Comes a slipstream battle. Check on the race leaders. He's got that one covered for now. It's going on for P5.
Oh, he does, but he's gone wide at Bluemoon. City Posh is right behind him, but pulls out the move. Let's only keep it for now.
Oh, and so Felice is wide through Bluemoon as well. Trying to get up the inside and breaking for the bus stop. Is he going for it? He thinks about it. A bit of contact. Switch back pits. Oh, Junkie Sport's been turned around. Goes into the pits. I think he was on the wrong side of unsafe release, and as he tried to get across into the pits, he got turned across the front of the McLaren.
Well, in the background, Deluxe just got past Donzo into turn 1.
He has indeed. So now it's 2 McLarens versus 2 Alfa Romeos. But yeah, I think Junkie Sport got on the wrong side of unsafe release. And got turned around as he tried to make his way into the pits.
City Posh has got a run on Andy. Camera straight.
Down the inside. And into the lead of the race he goes. And Steph has closed in a bit as well, so Andy can start battling and trying to come back at City Posh. This could be a three-way fight. Go back and find what the Citroens are now on. So Zach is now on the Super Softs. That's his Zom, that's his Junkie Sport, so they're going for the 3-stopper.
I mean, it might not be the worst thing in the world, Andy having someone to follow. It's always a little bit easier to chase someone in front.
Very much so. Steph just chipping away at that gap as well. Junkie Sport is behind Zom now as well after that, so that's how much time he lost. That spin.
Dream shout, we have everybody's favourite person, we have Goy Carp, saying hashtag Team Andy.
Doing him proud so far, clinging onto the back of City Posh. Fuel wise, City Posh slightly better off. Indeed, so it's McLaren defending from Alpha twice. Tucked in behind the look now.
Zom's just let Carl get a Junkie Sport through.
Lovely view there from Bluemoon down to the bus stop chicane. Unsafely holds on. Donzo doesn't have a look, but the look has caught back onto these two. Just put a bit of a gap to SBY. Under pressure at the moment. It's probably still there though.
Andy's right in the back of City Posh, he hasn't let him go.
Right under the rear wing. So they run down to Eau Rouge. Eau Rouge they go through Radion. So just a little bit of a moment off the curbs. Now he's got a very good run.
Evo looks very blunt. Radion.
To the outside, takes the lead on the straight. City Posh has got the inside. Oh, City Posh drops back in behind, a little bit of contact, but nothing to worry about. Oh, City Posh has a big slide.
How was he held that?
That was a big slide there. Gathers it up though. Lost a couple of turns to Steph as well. Yeah. Lost a couple of turns to Steph there behind them with that one. So Steph hanging onto the coattails. He's not quite in slipstream range, but he can get back in slipstream range. Should pull him back onto the fair of these two.
SPY in the background's got past the look.
Double alpha sandwich, thank you very much.
I must admit, I don't think I'd like an Alfa Romeo sandwich, they are made of metal.
I'm sure there's some Italian food stuff we can put in there to make up for it. So Andy back into the lead of the race. Oh, he's wide though.
Having a look, they're unsafe, there's contact.
Through they all go.
Donzo did put his indicator on.
driving there from Donzo.
There's nothing malicious in it, but just a late move.
Safe, let's back up to P5.
Oh, and Safe's looking ragged. He's on Ashford turf at Bloshimore.
Oh! A late move, late decision to go for a move on SPY into the bus stop. Just about, I think SPY saw him coming. Deluxe hit the AstroTurf. Slowed his progress out the bus stop. I thought Donzo back through. Switchback closing as well behind them. Just as the fastest lap of the race, I believe. An out lap. Told me he's just at a 1 minute 12.7. I don't think he's at a 1 minute 12.7.
You never know.
It's possibly at a 2:18.4, however, it's probably more likely.
Walk around the outside of Andy once again.
Junkie Sport having a slide coming out of La Source.
Andy's letting him go, he's fighting it. It's around the outside line. He's had wiggles through here before.
Contact. Goes to the inside, trying to get rid of a penalty. Now he's got the inside for the downhill corner. Oh, bit of contact again. And all this squabbling has let Steph onto their tail. So now this is a three-way battle for the lead. Andy's tyres looking well past their best. Getting close to his pit stop window.
Well, just a heads up, I know there's a lot of sport currently on, and if you are watching us for reference, Chelsea are now leading Man City at half time.
Fine, it's fine. Calm. So City Posh leads. And second, Steph third. These are your three for the race lead. Further back, SBY. Also for Elise, Deluxe and Donzo, nose to tail. It's now McLaren's in an Alpha sandwich. The other way around. Switch back in P8. He has already stopped for the first time. 14 seconds of the lead.
He is pushing on quite hard on those super soft tyres.
Oh, City Posh has hit the pit entrance.
Oh,
Trying to get him and Steph have boxed. Andy's carried on. And on entering the pit lane, City Posh hit the end of the pit wall. And unsafe for Lisa's in.
One from me because Andy was on the soft tyre. Everyone else around him on the medium, so
He's clearly wanting to make these last as long as he can.
he might be trying the two-stop.
So he probably could have done another lap if he goes into the mediums to the middle stint. Obviously they'll last. So yeah, it's be interesting to see if this costs Andy. I suppose it'll depend on what tyres the guys around him come out on. SVY now P2, Deluxe and Donzo's also for these peeled off into the pits.
Junkie Sport was wide at the source hairpin, but he's got a fantastic run of City Posh just come out pits.
Again, looking at tyre wear, Donzo is 77 laps into this, 15 minutes into this race, and his tyres are barely worn. So, excellent guys, that's about 3,000 miles on that car, so again, we're putting in the miles. And they look for 3,200 as well, so he's been racking the mileage up.
Was a lot of the GT2 boys have done a hell of a lot of mileage this season, and it shows. Like, the driving standards are fantastic nowadays.
So Steph has leapfrogged City Posh after that pit lane misdemeanor, and they've come out with Junkie Sport right behind them. Switchback is 8 seconds up the road.
That had SBY, Deluxe, Donzo, and unsafe pitted. So it'll be interesting to see what happens regarding undercuts and who comes out where. Unsafe down in 10th.
So Andy is your race leader, 6 seconds ahead of SBY. That gap has just spread out a little bit now between SBY, Deluxe and Donzo, so not really battling at the moment. Switchback closing in. No, he's on the AstroTurf, he's sideways. He's going the other way, he's caught it. A huge scare for potentially the race leader.
That's the trouble when you push. It does make a chance of making a mistake that bit higher.
Andy pits. This time around, SBY is in, Deluc is in, Donzo in. So, last of the people to make their first stops. And that will release Switch back into the race lead. But having a huge tank slapper there.
Most people would have to pit just so they had fuel to make another lap, but Deluc still had just over a quarter of a tank. So McLaren looking after his fuel very well.
So Steph is P2. Where's Andy going to come out? So no, Deluc's coming out first. So Deluc has jumped Andy.
Deluc has shot Phil massively. He's got less than half a tank and he's on a medium tyre, so I expect him short stint.
Strategy from Deluc. He's been the one that tends to do something a little bit different. I'm glad he's decided not to finish on the mediums this week. Although he's probably about to pick up a half-second penalty for running over the curbs at Radion.
Caution on the outside of Steph.
SB1 so release side by side, so these guys have got back together. Down Camel. SBY has the inside. That doesn't stop Unsafe Release, who goes round the outside. Great move there. So Andy has really lost out in that. That extra lap has really cost him.
So Steph held up from City Posh.
Like 6 seconds behind City Posh, who he was battling with before. And not too long there for Andy, you feel. Well, let's see what he can do now in the middle of some medium tyres.
Yeah, we said those medium tyres. As good as not the opening stint, but yeah, better to get them on the way now. Have the supers to go on to.
So race leader switch back. He's 4.5 seconds ahead of Steph. You've got City Posh tucked up behind him, so those two probably in net race leaders. Everybody's got 2 stops to make. Well, have they? In fact, no. Tell the lie. City Posh and Steph have only got 1. Switchback has 2.
So I don't expect Switchback to be out much longer. Those tyres are looking very low, especially after that massive tank slap we had.
Into the bus stop. Steph holds onto it. City Posh not going for a move. So Steph takes over in the race lead. Will Junkie Sport be in? He is. Let's do a look. Oh, Andy's had a huge moment coming out of the bus stop. Gathers it up. But that's put Unsafe Release right onto his tail. Just too early on the power. Unsafe Release down the inside into the source. Through he goes. SBY now on the attack. He has a big moment coming out of the source. Trying to avoid Andy. So car control.
Not the easiest thing to get out of the corner with no traction control.
So car control excellent from everybody there. Just about gathered it up. Oh, Andy's had it. Whoa. Andy's car, yeah, like I said, it was planted a couple of laps ago. Very lively over the top of Radio on that time. Gets himself a half-second penalty.
Steph gets the move done.
Through he goes. So, still battling with the Mitsubishi, but it is the other one now, Steph.
Posh has a quarter of a tank more than Steph.
Unsafe Release having a moment now. SBY's up the inside of him. Andy's coming back as well. These 4 going at it, tooth and nail.
Don't make it 3 wide, boys.
And Andy comes out in front after all that. I think he got slipstreamed down the straight by SBY. He got down the inside of Unsafe Release. Unsafe now back on side by side with SBY. Donzo's trying to follow through as well.
Side by side in the poo one. It's difficult to make it work.
SBY's gonna get squeezed out here. He does. Oh, gathers it up though. Hangs on to the AstroTurf. There you go. Drops back in behind.
He's done very well not to spin that Alpha.
He has indeed. Very good save. Switch back after his pit stop is P8. Sport P9 and Zom P10. He's not battling with JP Greenwood. At the front, and as it was last time around, City Posh leads, but that Mitsubishi is not letting him go. Steph all over the back of your race leader. Pushing him into Blanchimont, in fact.
Oh! That was a massive slide from City Posh.
Heart in mouth moment.
I've got no idea how these boys keep these cars in a straight line. I really don't.
Brilliant to watch. P4 rages on as well. And the unsafe release is on the AstroTurf, so is SBY. Look at the endless traction on there, boys.
The look still stays out. We've got a quarter of a tank, so I expect to see him in at the end of this lap to get rid of these mediums. That's going
Greenwood wide through Blanchemont.
Just shy of 16 minutes from the super soft tyre. It's an awful long way to try and take.
Good battle for P10. Some JP Greenwood going at it.
Steph's trying the outside of City Porsche.
Oh, just caught the end of that. Not quite enough of an overlap, but City Porsche holds on to it. Great battle. It's great to see Steph up there in the dry conditions.
Isn't it? We saw a couple of shows from Steph in the Mercedes back in the last season when he joined, and
On debut as well, wasn't it? It's a Nürburgring. He led for a good chunk of that race. I think if he'd have got his strategy sorted, he might well have been in contention for a win.
Mikey's happy with the battle.
Slogfest between these two. Meanwhile, a battle for P4, unsafe release now at the head of it. Andy behind him, Donzo and SBY watching brief.
SBY's on the super soft tyre, so really he needs to make a move soon.
Be behind everybody on the quicker tyre.
Pete in the chat asking how's it been. I mean, the racing has been immaculate as ever. Some fantastic battles. As ever, GT2 showing us how it's done.
Goes through Blanchemont again. Steph still around the tail. He's a bit wide with Blanchemont. City pushes car looking lively as well.
I mean, you mentioned penalties in warm-up, but both of these guys have one at the moment.
0.4 or 0.2. I think they should be able to get rid of them fairly easily.
So look is staying up for another lap.
Not red yet, so
8th of tank left. Long lap spot.
True. I think it goes red when you drop into, was it about 1.3 laps, something like that, and it starts warning you, so I think he's okay yet. But we'd expect him in this time. It gives him a little bit less time on those super softs getting to the end as well. And he is quite good on his tyres, Deluxe, so he's clearly confident in his strategy.
You said the battle for 10th, it hasn't abated. These two are still neck and neck. Oh, Jimmy Green with a massive slide coming at the bus stop. But he's still hanging up as well.
Unsafe release is making a bit of a break from that battle for P4, leaving Andy to fight off the Alfa Romeos. The source down the hill now is on, using that Citroen's straight line speed.
Oh, had a change. Steph has gone past City Porsche. The run down came up.
Indeed, so Steph back into the lead of the race. This one is not done. 15 minutes to go. He's making a little bit of a break now. He's got 1.5 seconds, so he's just back in the slipstream range now of Andy, who's got Donzo and SB1.
The Astro at P1 got very sideways, held it. But City Porsche has a lot more fuel than Steph at the moment, which could be critical in the next pit stop.
So we'll jump quite considerably ahead of him. Spending less time stationary.
Don's already looked on the inside. Little bit of contact. Same play he had contact with unsafe earlier.
Through he goes. There's SBY as well. They'll be picking up the slipstream from the Alpha. Don's back in the slipstream range of unsafe as well, so that should help pull him away. SBY alright.
Catch up to this 4-car battle, but currently 8th now in 17 on the 1-car week.
So he's had the fastest lap again last time around at 2:18.2.
So he is quick, but
Deluxe is in.
Andy's in the wall, coming off a bus stop. I'm not sure what's happened. He's left the room, so maybe disconnect. But That car was all over coming up the bus stop again.
Race leader, Steph leading. See Posh with the flash of the lights. I don't think he's going to make a move this time. I think he's happy to just sit in.
There's a 10-second lead, so you'd expect him to be still at the front and make their own pit stops. You know, if you see Posh, you can follow Steph in and jump him in the pits, or if you try to move in the lap. Personally, I'd just follow him in.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's got such a big fuel. Obviously, he won't know the fuel advantage he's got, but you think you just got to head off for your arrival, haven't you, really? There's no point going long on worn tyres.
Well, the look obviously came in the last lap. He's come out in 7th, just in front of Junkie Spot, and he will be going to the end from here.
Donzo's side by side with unsafe at the end of Poo on. Not quite, didn't fancy going around the outside. Frankly, I wouldn't try and go around the outside of unsafe release to a corner because he will do side on to you.
Well, I mean, you're known as Captain Understeer. I think we should call unsafe release Captain Oversteer.
Yes, a little bit. It is all action all the time with unsafe release. Donzo to the outside again. There's a power slide, the defensive power slide from unsafe. That lets Donzo up the inside though. Didn't work out that time. Oh, he's out on the Astro.
Both Alfa Romeos will be in this lap because they've got no fuel left, as SBY's now got a 1.4 second penalty.
Steph on the red line, so he'll be in this time around. Steph comes in, City Posh follows him. Does he hit the pit lane this time? Nope. Got it right this time.
He might not hit the pit lane. He did have more tyre wear than Steph on the same set of tyres.
In from 3rd, 4th and 5th, so Switchback will re-inherit the lead. He's got 11 minutes, so what kind of a gap is he going to have? Is this 3-stop strategy going to pay off? The look are going to come out, Junkie Sport's in, so that's interesting. So Switchback doesn't pit, but Junkie Sport does. Posh is right out behind us.
Switchback by the time they get from this point. Whatever that. 2.3, yeah.
Where is Steph? Let me select him. There he is. So Steph has come out in P3 and he has lost 5 seconds to City Posh. All the extra fuel he's had to put in. So the 3.5 second gap back to unsafe release, but unsafe release can see Steph now, so the look is P5, but we know Switchback has to pit, so where is Switchback going to filter back out? Donzo and SBY nose to tail for an air pairing. So now P8, Junkie Sport now in a battle with JP Greenwood.
Alfa Romeo just switched, so SBY is now in front of Donzo.
See Posh closing in on Switchback. Don't think the 3-stopper is going to work out for Citroen here. Too much time in the pits here, I think, to make it really work.
I mean, you would think he's going to be around the look. Ultimately, you can put a lap of fuel in, maybe. And then change the tyres. He's got a 14-second gap. The look.
It's about 5 seconds for tyres, isn't it? And then
2 or 3 for a lap. 2, so they can pit lane.
So, yeah, that's probably
it's going to be around there, if not it'll be in and around the Alfa 7.
SBY getting the hammer down. And his teammate, despite being on the
Switchbacks in.
Junkie Sport closing up. This race leader changes over to City Posh Blue. About 5.5 seconds. Over Steph, who has got unsafe release, closing in. Now where does Switchback filter out? Here comes to look into the source.
Switchback's coming up pit lane now. They're going to be.
Yeah, he's going to be alright with SBY, I think. That's how he gets up to speed. Just not too far behind the look, so...
Switch back in slipstream we're in and on a little bit fresher super soft tyres. He's putting a real battle to the line.
Look's gone defensive straight away, hooks the inside. So they come onto the Camel straight. Once again, City Posh making these Group 3 races look absolutely serenely easy.
Indeed, however, I believe his teammate will say his car on track at the moment is that 3-second gap with Steph Addis, now down to 1.6.
Both on the same tyres, but he's taken 2 seconds out of him already.
He looks a lot more planted on these super softs than he was. A little bit sideways on the soft and the medium.
See now 1.2. This gap closing. Switch back on the tail of Deluc. As well, so battles going on for P2 and P3, P4 and P5. SPY not a million miles behind these two, so if they do start squabbling, we'll soon be with them.
And Donzo's not too far back, he's only 1.5 seconds behind his teammate. Gap down to less than a second.
Looking for a move up into the bus stop, he's down the inside. Plenty of curb. Oh, Deluc tried to cut back, but I think he got a bit too much oversteering, almost went up on the grass. Trying to sort his line out, and that has let SBY close up. He's now within slipstream range, so these two are going to be going to 3.
Unsafe right on the back of Steph.
Oh,
squirming.
Steph's car. Wow. To the outside he goes, Steph goes defensive. He's later on the brakes, we've seen him go around the outside of a couple of people here already. Steph, however, says no. Not this time. Hangs on to P2, switchback has done the look. A little bit deep into the chicane. SBY is now interested.
SBY, now on these soft tyres, the car looks completely different to what it did earlier in the race. It's hooked up now.
Indeed.
With this battle behind, City Posh has pulled another 2 seconds in the battle for second, so...
Indeed. Looks like he's pushing him round P1. Steph having to go defensive, and so for this to go around the outside. This will be a good move if he can make this work. He'll have the inside for the next part. Steph gives him room, and he gets it done. That is a great move by Unsafe Release. Up into B2, makes it a McLaren 1-2.
I've seen Unsafe pull some miraculous moves in that McLaren today. Well, we've seen it all season, to be fair. Yeah. It seems if anybody wants to go outside, it's being Unsafe, and if anybody wants to go sideways, it's being Unsafe. But he's held on to everything today so far, so touch wood.
Indeed, we'll step a little bit wide out of Blanchimont. Hanging on to the McLaren's tail though, we saw this earlier on.
No.
He can stay with the McLarens.
Clipped the inside curb at Blanchimont, put it a little bit wide, but held on to it. But it's allowed Donzo to close up, so we have a 4-car trade, 4th place again.
Deluc has caught back up the switchback, so he's not under direct attack from SBY. So, yeah, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th, all in a line. SBY though, right on his tail again, as they start running down towards Eau Rouge. Thumbs up, just keeping a watching brief.
Straight line, McLaren versus Mitsubishi, what's destined to a half-second penalty.
He's going defensive as well, so stuff will be close enough this time. Switchback has had a good run up the hill. Deluc has also picked up a penalty. not quite close enough. Junkie Sport only P8. I think he would have been hoping for a little bit better. So that spin has cost him a good chunk of time, but I don't think he's lost enough that he'd be on the tail of Donzo at the moment. So
it hasn't quite gone to plan for the sit run team with obviously the wildcard week. So yeah, SPY isn't really having a look at the look now. It's allowing Switchback to get away.
And he looks to the inside, coming to Puon. Through he goes. And the Puon's a brave man to make it. Good move there. Coming back at him on the outside. Looks for unsafe release. He's carried so much speed into there. Gets the inside, but SPY's not going to have one around the outside. Oh, he's wide though. Kicks at the dirt. Through goes Donzo. Can he make the double overtake? Down the inside of him. Got an awful camera angle. There we go. And Donzo has made the double overtake, so great opportunistic move.
That corner seems to be Donzo's favourite overtake maneuver. We've done it 3 times now, so
through Blanchimont they go again. Into the bus stop. SPY is close to the back of Deluc. He's looking down the inside. It's rid of his penalty though, so saves it for another lap. As we should starting what will be Donzo, I think, is going to look through it. Yep. So Donzo, I think, feeling that the contact was too much. Let's to look through. Very sportsmanlike from Donzo tonight. Well done. A couple of times.
It's not the easiest thing. Like, in the heat of the moment, you don't want to let anyone through, but yeah, gentlemen didn't do, so nice sportsmanship being shown.
So this should be...
Oh, SPY's gone well wide at Eau Rouge! He clipped the inside curve and it sent him to Narnia. I don't know how he saved the car, but...
He gets a half-second penalty for his troubles as well. Final lap. We're on Deluc having a look at Donzo, so Donzo's got back through all this. Race leader, City Posh, comfortably in the lead, unsafe release, and Steph's still together, so Steph has dropped away. On for a very strong podium finish. Switch back in P4. The battling up behind him has helped get away. Once again, it has been a serene drive from City Posh Blue. Look up at Donzo, and Donzo's pulled out enough of a lead now, but SPY is coming back at Deluc.
A little bit wearing the rear tyre now for SPY, so I've got a little bit careful, but
Still have a big lead to Junkie Sport, so
this will be the last lap for everybody. So
indeed, City Posh coming through Blanchimont for the final time. Into the bus stop. And what a... just another superb drive from City Posh Blue. He wins at Spa-Francorchamps. Great drive from him. He is your victor. Behind him his teammate. Going to make it a McLaren 1-2 once again. Forever the bridesmaid. And Steph with a fantastic podium in P3. Switchback will be P4. I think he would have hoped for a little bit better. Donzo's P5. Deluc P6. SPY has run out of fuel on the run to the line. So they're going to get a little bit too fine on his fuel. Junkie Sport. They all went a little bit wrong at the first pit stop for him. Got turned around trying to enter the pits. And only P8 for him. Quiet race for Zom. Had some good battles with JP Greenwood on the way. Into the bus stop he comes.
it does indeed.
Through the chicane.
Well, I'll leave for Citroen, but I mean, points finishes for everyone, so.
Zom, you have to cross the line first, mate. Oh, he's doing reversing across the line. Nope. I get hurry up because Jeffrey Hookenwood is coming. There you go.
Okay, he made that look a lot more difficult than it should have been.
It wasn't easy. So Jeffrey Hookenwood comes home P10. And the final points finish it. So it is once again City Posh Blue who stands on top of the podium around 14, closing in on that GT2 title.
If you told me after the first week that the McLarens would look dominant, I wouldn't have believed you. But they've hit second gear and third gear towards the end of the season. It's been fantastic.
Indeed, flown forwards, and so that ends the coverage for tonight of GT2. And we move on to the final round for the championship next week. But tomorrow we are back with GT1 action from the Cathedral of Speed itself, Monza. And then we are at Sardegna A for the Group 3 race, so do join us for that. You don't sound too excited about the prospect, Bjorn.
Yeah, Monza's never been a good circuit for me, so yeah, we'll see.
It could be an interesting battle. I'll see what happens there. So do join us 8 o'clock tomorrow night for that. Hopefully you haven't melted by then. Oh, we're forecasting thunderstorms for tomorrow then, so hopefully it should be a little bit cooler. But yes, thank you very much for joining us tonight. And we move on to the final round of the championship next week. But for this evening, thank you very much to Paul for co-commentating.
Pleasure as always.
And we will see you next week back for GT2 action. Thank you very much and good night.